shit's working. Sweet. La la la. Okay, mic seems to be working. Let's do this shit. How does this sound?
On my HB.
My mic volume up like this. Blah 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 blah. Apparently my link's not working. Here, now I got the link.
And did you pop up your chat window?
Not on the stream, no.
You want to have it just so you can see who's chatting.
Alright,
If you go to your YouTube.
Okay, doesn't work either. Whatever. Alright, go to OBS, you said?
No, go to your YouTube. Go to your stream. Oh, no, right there, that's fine. Click here. Pop in chat. Minimize it.
Hey, okay, I see what's going on.
Yeah, and then minimize it. And I just check it every once in a while.
Yeah, true. Okay, cool. Cheers. Do 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 do. Okay. CPU is fucking working right now. Let's see if we can fix that. Sample rate 44.1, buffer size. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. Oh my HP. Shalom. Oh yeah, it's still. Is it still Hanukkah? Fuck. Sample rate. Maybe I'll crank my sample rate up. Who knows? Oh Jesus. Oh my HP. This is me and good old Brains remix of Hold Up by Samplifier. Due in 4 days and not even close. Well, kind of close. No, not really though. I don't know. Hey, what's up, Noah? I don't know if YouTube goes by international laws or maritime law or what, but here in Canada the weed is legal, so we smoking big dope on this stream. Yeah, sir. not watching. If not, if so, it's legal now. So. Okay. Jesus. Okay, I think, yeah. Alright, let's go. My mind blanked a little bit there. Alright, fucking, what was giving me shit with this earlier? The snare. I'm using, my headphones are missing a pad. Went to Long and McQuaid today. Apparently they don't sell replacement pads for this model. So I'm on my own. So it's kind of shit because the right side of my ear really isn't getting things very well. The only other option I have is my Beats headphones that don't have a working auxiliary cable. But out of adversity comes excellence or something. I don't know how the term goes, but shout out to the roommate Josh Ritchie. Look him up on SoundCloud. Guy's the next wave in like alternative, like songwriter, heartthrob music. Shredding on the guitar here. We got the, I think this is the pitched up version. And this is the pitched down version. It's gonna come out. I'm getting some fuck distortion right now though. It's because I have my guitar. Disclaimer for anyone watching, I don't consider myself a music professional yet, so take everything I do with a grain of salt, because I might be doing stupid shit and I don't know. But I have my electric guitar. Does Ableton have a stock de-esser, or do you have to make it yourself in the compressor? Or in the compressor. So anyway, I have my guitar getting the same processing as all of my basses. I like to group process my drops because I find it helps me keep consistency in my drops, like effects wise. I found a lot before. Also, I don't know, it speeds my workflow. Like, I used to never finish any songs, and like, it was mostly because I'd spend so much time on like each different bass trying to like process them uniquely, when I felt like for the song as a whole, when you processed all the basses together, at least like you can do some like different, like I have them all EQ'd differently, and like, you know, they all have their own effects chains going in the Serum effects, but I put them all in a group, and then I don't have like a set formula really. I have things that I like to do. Shout out the Virtual Riot Pray for Rhythm Fat Rack from Excellent Sound. That's doing a lot here. Like if I just play you the drop, unsolo those guitars, that guitar. Shit. Jesus, god damn it. Sorry, I keep fucking people's speakers up, I'm sure. Okay, the drop is starting. 3, 2, 1. So that's it with Fat Rack. Oh, and there's some OTT feedback. Actually, I think that's the multi-band in my serum effects, but same thing. Now if I turn that Fat Rack off, not horrible, but definitely not as fat with a pH. Let's put that back on. Find it it definitely feels like it's got more stereo width. However, like, I don't really see, unless he's got some mid-side EQing going on in these EQs, maybe like just the saturator and the OTT and the overdrive bringing out a bunch of like highs that are wider out on the stereo image, perhaps. I don't know. Again, refer to my disclaimer. I'm not an expert. I'll check. I'll do that right now. I'm gonna see if there's a de-esser setting under the multiband. I'm really bad. Like, I feel like another way that I would probably work faster is if I actually took advantage of presets more. But I feel like my ADD brain loves fucking going into a effect plugin or whatever and just messing with parameters. Like, I mean, that's why I really like school right now, because like I get to do that, but I'm actually learning fundamentally how these parameters work. So when I go in, I'm not just like throwing shit at a wall, seeing what'll stick. But I don't know where I was going with that. But multi-band dynamics. There we go. No, perhaps under the compressor though. I probably should have checked that too. Yeah, de-esser. Fucking, what do you know? Okay. Does this guitar really have this much? Yeah, it does. De-esser. Let's see what that sounds like. Put it on both. I'm gonna turn off this thing. That needs work too. Yeah, so I guess it's compressing at 6K. That's the setting. Maybe if I turn the gain down, or does it have to go up? Okay. Distracted by my phone. I want to listen to it with everything else too, actually. Okay, right? De-esser on both? Yep, let's go. I guess I have this turned off too. I should probably have that on. Okay, those are non-existent now. Whoops. Zero. What the fuck? I think I might just have to tweak some of the. I should probably tweak that EQ and the amp. Probably fix a lot with that. For some reason it was just disappearing with the. Oh, probably because the de-esser was at 6,000 and my EQ is boosted like crazy, not far from that. Or do I have 6,000 cut? Oops. Oh, I do. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh yeah, that is completely cut. Okay. Is it cut on this one? No, it's not, because that's the low one. Okay. Eight's chilling at 10. 6K. Okay, drop that a bit. Ooh. That sounds way better. Nice. Look at that. I streamed and I learned that the de-esser setting is under the multiband compressor. And shout out Icky Guy. If anyone's watching right now, 4 people. The 3 of you that aren't Icky Guy, go check out his new track he dropped today. It is fucking fire. He's probably watching this shaking his head at my engineering skills. But, oh well. Sorry to disappoint you, man. I'll do better next time. Probably shouldn't move so far from the mic. I don't know if it sounds good at all. Okay. Official break to text my girlfriend so she doesn't feel unloved. Cool. I think I really actually need to work on that kind of buzzy bass because it's frickin' not sounding very good. Oh, these headphones are pissing me off. Okay, I feel like you haven't been able to hear me very much actually for the last 5 minutes because I've been far away from the mic. Maybe turn up the input gain a tad. Tell me if I'm getting too loud. Alright, let's work on this guy. I'm actually pretty stoked. Like, once this gets right, oh my god, I hate these. How it's gonna sound. A while ago when I was starting to go back in heavy into my sound design, or not starting to go back into, starting for the first time, I guess. I made this patch, called it Resi, basically a slightly rounded sine wave, and I don't know if the other sine wave, yeah, they're both warping a fuck ton with bend minus and bend plus, but I'm sure it's distorted as hell. Pretty distorted. Sub-oscillator with a triangle wave, because, I don't know, I love triangle waves. Like, sine waves are cool, but I find for bass music, triangle waves are dope. I'm just gonna not listen to 3 things with my right ear. Triangle waves are dope because they have those like added harmonics, but they still provide that like sub. But also, I don't know. It's like, I mean, I just try random stuff. So this is, yeah. So that's a triangle wave with the whole effects range on it. It's pretty cool. Shout out to my favorite producer of all time, Getter, for turning me on to sine waves when I watched his tutorial for how he made Colorblind. He said, alright, was it even that? Oh, okay, no, yeah, during that, he was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to teach you how to make your own 808, and then he went in, and he's like, triangle wave. And since Getter said it, I followed it like religion, because I'm in love with that man. I will not hide that. So yeah, anyway. Resi patch. Let's fix it. I feel like it's phasing kind of weird, which is probably, since I made this a while ago, something to do with my Serum Effects rack, because, yeah, oh, I need a drink. Oh well. When I made this, it was right when I was like, actually, I decided, like, okay, I'm actually gonna, you know, get to know how to make sounds and not just fuck around in Serum aimlessly. I still didn't know a lot about what certain effect parameters did. So, yeah, let's just listen to this thing on loop. That's one thing. I'm going to start streaming a lot more, so if anyone's watching me stream a lot, you're going to notice that I have a really... Yo, what's good? You fucking legend! Shout out to Higgy, so I don't have to keep fucking with these headphones. Woo! Yoink. Hello? Hello, 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 hello. Am I only coming out on everyone's left speaker? Am I in mono? Maybe it's just me. This should probably be on the line, but I don't know. Okay, we're good. I'm sorry. I'm getting sidetracked. This is my first stream. Shout out to Higgy for the headphones. Anyway, I loop things a lot, which is probably detrimental because I get like ear fatigue faster, but I don't know. Okay, I can't hear myself now. Oh, there we go. I was not in the right program. Okay, let's solve the part where it's actually... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to solo it because just for this instance, at least, it doesn't sound that bad when it's soloed. It's when it's in with everything else that I'm getting a lot of phasing issues. Still phasing a bit, but it doesn't sound horrible there. But with the rest of the song, it doesn't sound very good. If anyone's watching who's not a producer, if I can remember correctly from sound and acoustics, I didn't do too well on that exam. Phasing is an expression of a frequency. No, it's like a frequency expressed in degrees or something like that. To dumb it down, it's just the way you hear it. I guess like the phase is. Oh God, I'm really not the person. You know what? I'm gonna Google it so I don't feed anyone any false information. Phase. Oh, that's... Anyone see that? Whoops. First time streamer. A distinct period or stage in a process. Oh yeah, okay, so it's... Sound. Go. Oh yeah, it's a cycle of a waveform expressed in degrees. That's what it was. Oh, thank God you can't see my TV screen. That would have been embarrassing. I only have Ableton on. Awesome. That is amazing, because that would have sucked. I'm not going to tell anyone what it was. You can try and guess. But anyway, yeah. When I say it's phasing, it feels like it's moving around in my headphones, basically, is all you need to know. You can probably hear it in your speakers or whatever you're listening to. I don't know, depending on how good this audio is. But, yeah, we're going to try and fix that. And we're going to unsole it. Okay, headphones. It's actually not horrible. Okay, I'm gonna play with the dimension in Serum because I don't know. This thing is distorting a good amount, like not in a bad way. There's just a lot of distortion on it, so those uneven, like bright harmonics are yeah, getting distorted like a muff. Yes. So I'm gonna play with, yeah, they're getting spread out everywhere, so I don't want that. I don't think it's a dimension actually. It's kind of needed because I have the low end of it in mono. I have the low end of the whole track in mono, but I don't know, sometimes, oh no, I got the whole ass thing in mono right now. Okay. Yeah, I think before I had it just bass mono, but that's one thing I started doing pretty recently. I, on my master, will put a utility and turn the bass mono on. Just like there's certain instruments that I'm going to completely mono, but I'm cutting the low end from everything that I don't need to have low end in. Not all the way up to 120. Most of it's just to 100. Some things are super low cut. But anyway, it just ensures anything in the track that is 120 or below, it's going to come out mono. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just a single channel down the middle. So when you're hearing it in stereo, it's like it just kind of creates like a middle, a sort of illusion. I don't even know if it's like an illusion really, but just of a one center channel instead of coming at you from both ways. Whereas with the higher frequencies in my basses and stuff, I want those higher frequencies to be out wide. Something that I try to strive for a lot in my music is like a cool stereo image, because like the amount of times I'm sitting there with my headphones on and I hear someone's song, like for example, Sudden Death is someone who really comes to mind, Subtronics as well. When I'm listening to their music in my headphones, like it feels like someone's playing with something in my brain and like stretching it out wide and slapping it back in, and like the stereo image is just like, to me, it just, if you have a dope stereo image, it can make your song that much more interesting. So when it comes to that, I try to have a lot of movement. Like it feels like, you know, everything's got its place in the stereo image. But back to my original point, having the low end in mono is, you know, it's just, if you're making bass music, like it's the center of your mix, like that low end is just thumping. So, you know, my kick, my sub, I have a dedicated sub for anyone out there who, again, isn't that new. I know maybe a lot of my producer friends are gonna watch me who know more, but I really want people to watch me who don't understand what's going on at all, because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions. So when I use producer lingo, I'm gonna try my best to describe what I'm talking about. So basically, a dedicated sub is you remove all the low end from your patches. I do it in my processing on the group. I have it low cut at 120, even though most of them have their own EQ, and I low cut it again. I don't think that hurts. Maybe I'm just taking up a lot of CPU power, but I have them all out, and then I have a sub, which is the bane of my existence, by the way. The sub is the worst thing in the world. It's supposed to be so easy, just a sine wave and like some side chaining. I had a saturator on it just to give it more presence, because on my system I can't hear a thing. My monitors don't have a super good low end response, so I don't trust what I'm doing, so I don't know how it's sounding. We'll see if you can even hear this on your system. I can barely hear it on mine. We'll see about the headphones, but this is just the sub bass of the entire drop, so every single bass patch is all getting sub from this one pattern. And I didn't solo it. I'm an asshole. Like, I should probably change that super low note. What is that? A G minor. Yeah, like, that's not going to show up on, like, anyone's things that they're listening. Like, if that was played at Lost Lands, you'd probably feel it in your chest. But, like, fucking buddy with his iPhone headphones probably isn't going to hear that one too well, so... I'm not going to say I remember for sure. I have a horrible memory and I suck at studying, but I believe the optimal sub range is somewhere between... Oh, I might even be too low right now. D? It would, you know what? It's probably like D0 to D1, I think, is like the optimal sub range. Anything else is too high for sub or too low. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's around there. I only looked this up a couple days ago. So I think I'm alright. However, like, actually, I'm going to try moving everything up an octave and seeing how it sounds. Just because if I've been doing it wrong this whole time, and I mean, at least on this track, fuck. I think, yeah, I think it was an octave too low. I feel like an absolute dumbass right now. Let's hear it on its own. Oh, never mind. That sounds like hot garbage. Let's drop that back down. Never mind. Not as big of a dumbass as I thought. But still, those negative ones might be too low. So, yeah, they're definitely too low. That sounds good. I'm going to keep it like that for now. I got distracted from the thing I was actually working on anyway, so let's go back to that. Okay. Dropping the rate on the hyper, I think, did a little bit. Because even though the mix is down all the way, like, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't really think it's actually making a difference. I think I might just be hearing it now that I have Higgy's headphones. I might be hearing it better. Let's see. Also, by the way, I don't know, people who produce, I don't know who's watching this, but my master is completely clipping right now. You don't want that. You don't want that. Like 90% sure my hearing is permanently damaged, so I listen to things extremely loud, and I make them extremely loud until I like finish the song, and then I go back and basically where everything's at a level that I like it when it's too loud, I select everything and just pull the faders down until I'm hitting -6 at least on my master at the loudest point in the song. When I say -6, I mean -6 dB on your meter here on the master. If you hit tab in Ableton, it goes to live view and you can see it. 3.97, which is crazy loud. Like, things are obviously distorting. I should actually probably turn them all down right now because I'm probably hearing it shittier than it is. Like, that's how bad my hearing is. Don't do this. Don't turn your master down either. Keep your master at 0 and turn your sounds down so that it hits here. Your masters, don't touch it. Leave it at 0. Having said all that, I'm not going to do that right now because that's boring as hell and no fun, but just saying. So yeah. Oh, oh, right. Tab. Boop. Okay. It's probably so loud in my headphones that you can hear it coming through the microphone. It's probably really annoying, but I don't care. Just messing around with distortion because I don't know. To be honest, like, I don't even know if it's like the sound's that bad anymore, but I don't know. You can always make things better, so I'm just seeing if I can do something more interesting and perhaps a bit better sounding than this tube distortion, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's called tube because it's like emulating like a 70s like amp, because they used tubes to distort like guitar signals and stuff. I love you too. That's right. I said it on stream. Fuck all you. Okay, anyway, to stop distracting me. Oh, that sounds really cool. Although, hard clip might be a little intense. Like, sometimes, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, that's a good question, because like when it comes, because like all my shit is in the box obviously, so like when it comes to distortion, like because everything I make is in Serum, like 90% of it at least that would ever need to be distorted, and I have the Serum effects plug like thing, which is dope too. It's just Serum without like the oscillators. The only distortion I'm ever using is the Serum one, and it's between these and a few of these. Like, I don't know how anyone makes anything sound good with them. They just like fuck your like the very fabric of your sound up. But I'm sure some crazy mid-tempo dudes could do something with it or something. Like, I know there's the overdrive effect in Ableton, right? I think it's not on this bus, is it? Might be on Virtual Riot's rack, but if it is, I don't think I put it there. Like, I have the amp, which obviously gives it like an overdriven sound, just because like this track's got a guitar vibe and it's all heavy. Ah, yeah, there is an overdrive there. I think I actually listened to this today. I don't think it's actually doing that much. That's what I think. The Fat Rack's a lot of plugins that are all doing like a little bit, and it just adds up. And then when you add multi-band compressors to the distortion and everything, then it just goes crazy. But yeah, I guess I would say that I'm using tube distortion more often. I don't know how overdrive is actually created. Like, I don't know if it's it's just a different method of tube distortion or what. Because I know an amp, like when I played guitar as a kid, it would have an overdrive. It would have a drive knob. But I don't think there was an actual distortion, like, knob, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, like, this is what it sounds like without the overdrive. Like, I was hard pressed to say that either, but professionals made it, so I'm gonna leave it there because I'm sure they've got crazy audiophile ears that can hear shit that I can't. So I'm just gonna leave it and let it take up the CPU. What am I soloing? This guy. Anywho, back to Serum. I've got a feeling that a lot of these sessions I'm not actually gonna get a lot done because I'm just gonna sidetrack myself because I love to hear myself speak. But fuck it. Can't hear a difference when everything else is playing, which is probably a bad thing. For some reason, this guitar and this like bass are sounding good on their own, but sounding horrible together. And I have a feeling that I'm gonna put it back to tube because I don't know. I've got a feeling that it's something to do with like my compression on my bass bus because of the different volumes. It's just like normalizing it like crazy. So like when they're together, they're really compressed, and then when one's not there and the volume of the entire bus like I guess drops, then the loudness of one of them comes through more, if that makes sense. Like if I play it for you right now, you'll probably hear like when it's that bass and the guitar together, they sound quiet, and then when that bass cuts out and it's just the guitar, then the guitar gets louder. I think it might also have something to do with my multiband compression too. I started this song like months ago, and like to be honest, my learning curve in the last few months has been like exponential. So with every project, things are getting like way better, and I have a couple projects ahead of this. Like I've already released another songs, two maybe, since I started this. So like it has a lot of mistakes on it that I haven't completely fixed because I'm kind of lazy and there's a lot of them. So yeah, that's something. Anyway, you can hear it here. So listen for the guitar when the bass cuts out. So it's actually not that bad now. To be honest, I think that de-essing I did on the, not even de-essing, just dropping the, I guess it is kind of de-essing, just not with a compressor. Lowering 6K on the high one got rid of a lot of the weirdness that was probably being picked up by all the multiband compressors, because if I'm counting right, there are 4 on this entire rack. Probably not something they would teach you in music school, but if there's one thing that I've learned in the last little while, it's fuck rules. If it sounds good, it sounds good. To some people it might not. To me it sounds good. I've got an OTT here, which this is just like the Ableton stock preset of OTT on the multiband dynamics. And then I have a Serum Effects going, and I guarantee that, yeah, there's a multiband compressor in there, which is the exact same thing. And then I have the actual X for OTT plugin, which is free if you want to download it. I like it better than the OTT setting in multiband dynamics, but as someone who watches a lot of production tutorials from artists in a similar genre to me, I've noticed a lot of them heavy users of the Ableton OTT. Either way, doing the same thing probably doesn't sound that different, but I feel like that's the case with a lot of things in production. I feel like a lot of things actually don't sound that different. Like, I mean, like different versions of the same effect, and people are just like, I don't know, they're just like delusional. They're just like, oh yeah, this one sounds better, but it's just maybe not delusional, but it's just like a personal preference. It's not right. This is me when you're watching makeup tutorials around me. Sounds genius, but I don't know what's going on. So I just talked a lot and completely forget what I was going to do. Oh yes, check the compressor. Alright, I think it's this glue compressor. So we're going to take a look at this guy and listen to the drop. I'm going to play from the beginning just because also another annoying thing you'll notice about me if you watch a lot of my streams is that not that I have a lot, there will be more. Anyway, I play shit from the beginning over and over. I feel like you get a better feel of what's happening in your track if you hear it in unison with everything else. So like if I'm working on the drop, you rarely find me like just looping the drop because it needs to, it might sound good on its own, but it might sound like garbage with the build-up. So I'm almost always like, I like to build from the drop first, but I'll throw in like a skeleton of a build-up, usually just the drums and some risers, just so I can get that like energy and like the, what's the word I'm looking for, like build-up obviously, but like tension, I guess, tension and release. So I want to hear the build-up because sometimes if your build-up is too underwhelming and your drop hits so heavy, like it's not, it doesn't sound good. And likewise, if your drop is crazy hype, this is a problem I have a lot. My drop is, or my build-up is super hype and also like really loud because there's a lot going on in it, and then the drop hits and it's kind of underwhelming because like there isn't a huge change in dynamic range. Dynamic range, for anyone that doesn't know, is basically the distance between the quietest and the loudest part of your track. I find a lot of my tracks suffer dynamically because, like I said, my hearing isn't that good, I don't think, and I'm turning a lot of things up, which means it's not very dynamic. Whereas, like, say, like an orchestra is really dynamic. Like, you got the really quiet, you know, at one point it might just be one flute, and then you have the entire orchestra, and it's crazy loud. Like, its dynamic range is crazy. Where mine, you know, right now it's clipping. Everything, like, is so loud that it's hitting the master above 0 dB, and it's distorting, and that's not good. I need to fix that, but I'm not worried about that right now. Once again, completely lost my train of thought, but yeah, fuck it. That's probably going to happen most of the time. Oh, yeah. I listen to things all the way through. That's where I was going with that. So anyway, we're going to listen to it from the beginning. Okay, so I think I definitely need to change something on the glue compressor. Because like when I turn it off, personally, like, it doesn't sound better. Like, I think it needs the glue compressor because there's so many things being processed under this one group. I want them to sound like tight together, kind of. So like, I think I need it, but I think it's going maybe a little bit too hard. This is kind of like how I only started using glue compressors recently, like, because even though I said earlier, like, I like to open effects and like play around with parameters, like at the same time, I don't want to just go wild and ruin a song because I'm fucking around and I don't know what I'm doing. So like, I didn't know what the difference really was that much between the glue compressor in Ableton and a normal compressor, so I didn't use it because I didn't know what it did, so it would just be pointless. But I watched a few tutorials recently, and like, so like this is how I would like glue compress my drums. Like, I have everything. Oh yeah, by the way, this project is a collab with my boy Brains, Trevor. Some of this processing is his as well, but this started out as my project. Like, I made the whole first drop, so when I sent it to him, it was a lot of the effects were already kind of like designated to certain sounds, like the drums. He actually added a bit of extra compression to the drums and made them slap a lot harder. Kind of actually right around when I found out what fucking glue compression did. He added a second one here. I have no clue why. When it has this like white thing that makes it different from this. I don't know if it's the range setting or what, but anyway, yeah, those are slapping. But yeah, so like what I was going to say anyway. This is how I'd probably typically closer to like glue compress my drum bus, because like it's the drop. It's swinging quite a bit on the meter there, and yeah, so like that's what I have my drums doing. It's just like whipping back and forth. Don't ask me why. I couldn't really explain to you the science behind it. All I know is that I personally like the way it sounds. To me, it just sounds like the drums are punching more. Like they're kind of. I think it's because of the gain reduction from the compressor. Gain volume reduction to reduce. So basically, the compressor is taking the volume down of things that are too loud. You know, so I think it's kind of like the sucking sound of the drums being pulled down and then slapped back up with the makeup. So it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. They're punching really hard. That's one thing I like to feel like if you don't have to be able to explain why it sounds good. If it sounds good, it sounds good. But that was my best explanation as to why I think it probably sounds good. Anyway, that's for drums. We need to fix this bitch on the bass because it's not sounding the best. Okay. Honestly, not sure if that sounds better than the way it was before. I have to play it again. I think it sounds okay. I want to listen to the beginning, see what the glue compressor is doing, because that's where it was really sounding weird. I think it's sounding okay. I think I should probably not obsess over a glue compressor for that long. sometimes this, like, I wouldn't recommend doing this. This is just what I do. Like, sometimes if I'm really deep into a project, like for this one, it's been going on for so long and like it just needs to get done, I'll just like accept a mistake and say, okay, I'll fix it in the next song, which I wouldn't say you should do that because you're going to release things that like aren't as good as they could be, but sometimes I just need to do it to move on with my life or else I'll never release anything. So I think I might be able to make this bass a bit louder.
On my HP.
Even though my master's clipping.
On my HP.
If there's other things in the song that definitely need to be turned down, but I don't think that's one of them. It's not going very high on the meter there, so I think I can give that one a little more some. Oh, do I put another OTT on it? Oh, fuck it, you don't know until you try, right? This is dubstep, so like gotta fit all the producer stereotypes and put 40 OTTs on the entire song.
On my HP.
Uh-oh, did that make it sound a million times better? I think it actually might have. I might be eating my words with that OTT joke, because that kind of worked. I'm kind of pissed off, but happy accidents.
On my HP.
Brains drop is the second one here, but I'm not going to show you it because it's not mine. So, sometimes I do this thing too where I just listen through it because I like the way it sounds, and I can do that. And if you don't like it, you can leave. I think the vocals need to be brought forward. It's weird. It's the stems from Samplifier. Like, this is for a contest, so you'd think like the stems would be super like good quality, But you can tell that when he made this track, he just either found or ripped the vocals from the 21 Savage track, and it's not very good. If we listen to these on their own, like starting from right here. Like, I have them EQ'd to fuck because, like, if I turn this off, what is this, 5? Yeah. You can hear, there's like a break beat in the back. It almost sounds like he might have ripped it from his own song and not given his acapella to it. But, like, one sec. Yeah, I don't know. Listen to it. It's weird. It's not a good sample. I don't know. I hear a weird drum there, so I have that turned all the way down because it is just muddying the hell. Like, this vocal fucking sucks, man. Like, I don't work a lot with vocals, so I'm not the best. I have Vocal Synth 2 on it on like a preset, which I'm pretty sure is making it sound better. I played with the imaging. I don't know, like, so I just played with it until I thought it sounded good on my monitors. I have the width turned down a bit just to try and kind of center the vocal to, like, make it more present, but I don't know if that's, like, doing it any good. There is OTT on this too, which, I mean, I don't know, maybe I could tweak that to make it better, but it's got a lot of airy, like, pumpiness in it. I think why do I waste my time with this trivial bullshit? We might have did something there. Yeah, it sounds possessed because of vocal synth. It's like basically like doubling the vocal, and then the formant is like, I actually don't know the proper definition of formant. The best way I can describe it, it's almost like signaling out like lower. No, that doesn't really describe it well. Anyway, it's dropping the pitch of it, so there's the pitch dropped version and the normal version together, and then like all these other things on it. Maybe if I drop the mix a little bit, it'll sound better too. Let's hear this with the shits.
On my HP.
Distracted by my phone, but I think that might sound a bit better. I might want to turn the output gain on the OTT down a little bit. It might be too loud, which won't help our clipping situation. But yeah, one sec. Let me respond to this because it's important. I'm sorry. We'll try not to do this in the future, but this is actually really important. It has to do with music, so. Fuck. And I am almost pretty much friggin' done. Okay, no more fun. Let's fix this OTT. There's no way anyone's still watching. Where? It's Josh, isn't it? It's... Yes, it is Josh. You are correct. Shout out Neptunes. You know me too well.
On my HP.
Okay, I can't have that on this because it's affecting the vocal shots too, and it's making them way too loud. So let's take this and put it on here. Probably closer to here, like right there. Did that work? Where'd it go? OTT, yeah, that's what it is.
On my HP.
Now it's a different story. But, like, not oh, okay, I'm going to turn this one off, yeah. Delete that all the way. That's why.
On my HP. On my HP. On my HP. On my HP.
Okay, I think having it on the group before the bit crusher and the dimension expander was having a big effect because it sounds completely different now that I have it just on here.
On my HP.
Let's unsolo this.
On my HP.
Ooh, that OTT is feeding back on the basses. That needs to be fixed. I really don't feel like doing it right now, though, because it's boring. So I am not gonna fucking do it right now. I'm just gonna continue working on the vocal.
On my HP.
Okay, I'm gonna put it at like 11. Okay, I can't seem to get this OTT right. I'm not happy with any way it sounds, so contradictory to something I said like 30 minutes ago, I am gonna just whack on the Ableton OTT and see what it sounds like without tweaking anything. Oh, okay, it's at the end. Maybe it should be at the end. Definitely not. Let's put that down here. An hour and 20 minutes I've been doing this for. Jesus. Alright, I'm going to get this vocal right, and then I'm going to leave, because I have to study for a final tomorrow. Alright, no, that made it like infinitely worse. I should have just left it the way it was. I was happy with it. Well, I wasn't happy with it, but it was okay. Now it's not the most okay.
On my HP.
Okay, I'm gonna put an OTT on again, but not the fucking Ableton one. OTT. This is making me want to jump off a bridge, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, it's partially because everything's too fucking loud, but like, I don't want to stream myself turning down volumes. Perhaps, yeah, I'm gonna take it back where it was before, which is super annoying, but I'm literally just gonna hit undo until there's another thing on this. If it even goes that far. I hope it does. Okay, OTT is back. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna save it there, because and then I'll just fix what it does to here later. I can even automate the OTT if I have to keep it on that channel. Okay, well, you know what? It's been an hour and 25 minutes almost, and I feel like this is a really boring time in this project to stream a lot, and so that is going to be it for me tonight. But thanks to the one other person watching that isn't my girlfriend. It's probably my roommate, but Anyway, whatever. I'm gonna stream tomorrow. Peace, motherfuckers.